Welcome to Which Food is Recommended for You Part 2. I will explain what happens in our cells when we have eaten a meal. What is meant by a healthy versus an unhealthy meal? Well, healthy meals are exemplified by whole grain bread, crisp vegetable, raw cooked without much oil, perhaps in the microwave, cheese, low-fat meat, fish, cereal, nuts and fruits without salt and sugar. And then use plant oil, never animal fat. The guidelines for healthy meals have been developed by studies of more than 100,000 people over 20 years and communicated by most countries, including the US, Denmark and China, as well as the World Health Organization. Unhealthy meals are here described by fat-rich meals being sausage and eggs, cheese, bread, strawberry, 30 milliliter cream, butter and meat fat. They are also described by glucose-rich meals being cereal and orange juice, sweet drinks, desserts and pizza. Now what happens in the human cell after a meal? A healthy one. Well, the macronutrients, glucose, protein and lipid, as well as the micronutrients being metal, vitamin and polyunsaturated oil, are taken up by the cells. The flow of the macronutrients enters the mitochondria and induces expression of the enzyme NADPH oxidase, which allows oxygen uptake in the cell and transfer to O-, which finally result in energy production for maintaining the cellular function, such as synthesizing the protein collagen, maintaining the skeleton of the cell. Just a small decrease in C vitamin intake decreases collagen synthesis. Collagen is indeed the main constituent in the skin, the arteries, and also very important in muscle. The output of the cells are then CO2, which is waste, and their production dependent on their function. The human cell after an unhealthy meal. An unhealthy meal results in high levels of glucose or lipid in bloodstream. The cells take up these macronutrients and transfer them to the mitochondria. NADPH oxidase is induced extensively. However, the mitochondria are not able to burn the glucose present in the bloodstream, and they therefore have an excess O- production, which is damaging. Further, an unhealthy meal will not contain the micronutrients which a healthy does. Therefore, the cell will starve and not be able to make the enzymes for synthesis of the cellular components. The result is therefore cells deficient of fresh collagen, and that will be visible for the skin usually. Another well-described example is the zinc-dependent storage of insulin in the beta cell, which upon zinc depletion result in insulin deficiency. The free radical oxygen produced in the cell as a function of glucose and lipid in the bloodstream result in an immediate expression of several immune defense inflammatory proteins. Just one unhealthy meal consisting of mainly glucose or lipid result in increase in C-reactive protein, interleukin-6, TNF-alpha and NKB. They will initiate inflammatory cascades of the immune defense, which result in degradation of the local tissue. The lipid-rich meal also increased the blood coagulation factors involved in blood platelet aggregation. The physiological results from these meals will be as follows. The unhealthy meal result listed over here will result in cell starvation and death. This will include the immune defense cells, which are then weakened and not as strong. Therefore, the pathogen defense will not be as good, and the cell repair damaged and wounds are not being healed as good. The lipid-induced coagulation factors will after a meal result in circulation of microblood clots and thereby initiate or continue the well-known circulatory diseases, also named heart diseases, caused by lipid intake. The free oxygen radical will result in breakdown of the local tissue, such as the mitochondria and the cell. This is measured as mitochondrial, fat, immune, muscle, and endothelial cell death. The presence of induced inflammatory markers result in a whole body low inflammation condition. Therefore, if the body is further stressed, will the resulting inflammatory response more easily exceed the limit for body injury. For instance, joint and tendon damages or autoimmune diseases like skin diseases, type 2 diabetes, as well as heart diseases. A healthy meal will result in optimal immune defense against pathogens. The cell within the body are fed and divide. There will be an optimal blood sugar level until next meal, ensuring the brain and body energy source. Repair of damaged or ill cell will be optimal. The literature I've used for the documentation of this presentation is listed on this slide and also this slide. Please do consult my former presentation for how to design a healthy meal, and then thank you for your attention.